everybody. Hope you guys are all having a good night, wherever you may be. So today we're gonna take a look at this bloody fest that we have currently going on. What we have pulled up right here is Bitcoin. As we can see, it is testing its low for the third time that we've seen the past 5 weeks. And if you guys don't know, the more times that price tests a resistance or a support, the more likely it is to break it. So in this case, it is looking decently bearish on the Bitcoin chart. The reason being is because we have this trend line here, and I already marked this out before we started this, just because it's an important trend that I did find on the linear chart right here. We have this trend that could be adjusted here just a bit, but basically we start this when the March crash happened. This basically started our entire bull run, and we had a bounce here. We stayed above it for a bit. We got back below it, and we had a little rejection here. Like I said, this could be adjusted a little bit, and we also got a rejection here before we broke out of our previous high of 20,000. So if we go back in time right here, this right here was the same mark that Bitcoin topped out at in 2017. This was the grinding move. When we first hit it, we were coming from nearly $250. So, it didn't have enough strength to break above anything like that. But we came over here, we had so much consolidation afterwards that it really just grinded for, I believe it was like 2 weeks, let's see here, almost a month actually. We grinded here, and then we just blew right through. And an important thing about this is that we never came back and retested this mark. Most of the time when a big resistance is broken, such as the $10,000 mark, see here, pretty much ever since we started this bear market here, we held it here once, fell back below. We kind of played with it for like almost a month, and it just turned back into resistance here. Resistance, resistance, resistance all throughout here. And when we finally broke above it, we had to come down and confirm that as support for the first time in basically history, and that allowed us to pump the way we did. As we can see, Bitcoin just took off at that point. And what's weird about this is that Bitcoin did not retest its $20,000 mark. And even when it happened, when we first blew through this, I wasn't in SA Capital, but I knew that we needed to retest this mark, and it just never happened. We just came through with so much strength that we only came back down and retested 22,000, which really wasn't anything, because back then this was just air. We never touched that mark. So this is something that's very interesting, because many people think that when you break an all-time high especially, you need to retest it as support. And as we can see, we never confirmed this as support. It was resistance, but once we broke, we didn't see any back test then to allow us to continue rising. So with that being said, I believe that at some point, Bitcoin may retest this mark. I'm not saying that this is going to happen very soon. It might not even happen for another year. And the reason why is because Bitcoin at this point has retested 30K. And if we don't hold this $30,000 mark in this trend line right here, we are for sure going to see 29, 28, and then potential of 23 to 22. But at that point, Bitcoin would have had a near 3-year bear market based on its past history in literally 2 months, which is just unheard of before. And that would be like, it'd be about 70% drop, which that usually happens over a course of many, many years. So the reason why I say this is because I think at some point we may retest this, but as of right now, it might not be necessary, because we could see a potential push to 70,000 just like that. Not just like that, I'm sorry, but something similar to that. And the reason why is because the extension on the Fibonacci is always usually pressing up against its, I believe it's its 4.236, this right here. This, every single bull run, Bitcoin has always came and hit this mark right here. This was about 75,000. Every bull run, if you did a Fibonacci from the top to the bottom of its previous run, it always touched this mark right here. But as we can see, we got stopped at the 3.618. So as crazy as that sounds, we honestly can get potentially a swoop down to 29,000. If that holds and we start gaining ground, we could see it come back up to 75, let those altcoins finish off that really didn't, and let the big altcoins that really mean something and are doing something continue running. And then at that point, we may enter that prolonged bear market. And as crazy as that might sound, then we might come back down and retest that $20,000 mark right here. Obviously, it's too early to say. There's many people that are calling for that. But the thing that's making me think that we might not do that very soon is because, as many of you guys know, up here, everybody was super, super bullish. And when people are super bullish, when the sentiment's super bullish, and when the media is super bullish, that's usually when we start dropping. Just like down here, the media was super bearish, but that was the time to buy. And when the media became super bullish, we had Tom Brady and Paris Hilton putting laser eyes on. That obviously was the top, as we can see. The prices are down almost 60% from there. So now we have this case where everybody's just became super bearish right here, but everybody was super bullish right here. So usually, just in the past 4 years of my crypto experience, usually when the majority is a certain sentiment, the opposite happens. And as we can see now, we have CNBC, we have every media outlet just becoming super, super bearish on Bitcoin. But they were all bullish up here. But this was the time to be bearish. As crazy as it sounds, that was the time to be bearish. And if we go back in past history, we can't really see much on this Coinbase chart right here, but we can't really compare to here. But obviously, people are bullish up here and then they're bearish down here. But using past history, that's usually the time to be bullish. Just like people were bullish up here and they were bearish down here. But it's usually good to be opposite of the sentiment. So with that being said, I'm not saying we're not going to break 30K, because it's a very big possibility. But what's making me think that we might not hit this $20,000 mark soon is that everybody is turned bearish. And usually the whales like to do the opposite of what the retail thinks. And at this point right here, everybody is turned bearish. I'm sure you see all the articles. Twitter is completely bearish. Everybody is just turning into a bearish mode. And in that point, usually what the masses want, they don't get. Just like the masses wanted 100K up here, they didn't get it. And now the masses down here, I don't know if they want it, but they act like we're going back down to 20K. So with that being said, I think it's a very good possibility that if we do break this 31, our last chance for really big hope is a sweep to 28 to 29. At that point, it would be a fine structure, as it'd be sort of a bottoming pattern, but not a complete normal bottoming pattern. But there obviously is a lot more factors that are happening right now in the crypto space. So I think that at that point, if we get a bounce strong back above 30K, just this right here, if we see a similar scenario to just this right here, I think that would at least send us to 46K. I really do think that. And the reason why is because the sentiment in the masses, they don't get what they want. They never get what they want. Just like down here, many people were super bearish. But as we can see, that was the best time to buy right over here. And there's many, many big people that have been in the space for 8 years, and they don't think that we're done with our bull market. Even though we use this past data and say that we are done with our bull market, there's many people that don't think we're done with our bull market. But the majority of people, they've turned super bearish right here. And as we can see, yeah, we do see red candles, but that doesn't mean that we're just going to see a red streamer all the way down to 20K. So if that's what you guys are, I'm not saying you guys are thinking that, but many people do think that. And obviously anything's a possibility in crypto. We just got to use our past history, past data, and past experience to predict what's going to happen in the future. So right now it's kind of an interesting time. But basically, I'm going to look at a few different other things. And if you guys want to look at specific things, send it over in live session questions. Obviously there's a lot of things going on. Many of you guys might be in different positions. Many of you guys might be thinking different things. So we could definitely be interactive for this live stream. Whatever you guys want to see or have answered, feel free to send it over. I am flexible with that. There's really no specific agenda. But I'm sure you guys know that the China narrative has really been pushing it. Elon Musk helped us right here, even though this was a predictable drop. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm seeing on Bitcoin, is that this blue line right here is very important. This is 31,000 flat. We still have not touched this yet. And if we put on our MA, let's see which MA this is. If we put on our MA and put it on the week chart, this right here is our 50-week MA, this purple one. And this is very important because Bitcoin has never, ever, ever in history broken below this. After its high, broke below and started dropping. Never. It's never happened. So in that case, that's why I'm saying I think it's a very big possibility to see this scenario. And then at that point, then we'll make decisions there, because in any top, there's always a relief rally, and we can't even call this right here a relief rally. This is not enough of a relief rally, and the reason why is because if we use our Fibonacci tool, we always usually see at least the 0.5 or these golden ratios right here. So in that case, on the short term, if Bitcoin breaks below 31K, I think we could see the 30,000 obviously right here. If not, we could get a wick down to this box right here, because as we can see, we had many wicks. And on the bear side, I don't think this is going to happen, but it's obviously a possibility. Yeah, this will be super bearish and will very likely go right down at 24. But I don't see that happening, and the reason why is because we use this past data, this purple line right here. If we scroll all the way back, as we can see, we bounced off here twice actually. 2 times did we have a bounce off of this. And it wasn't just a small bounce, it was a month-long minimum bounce. And as we can see, I mean, this was a 100% bounce right here, and this right here was a 55% bounce. I can't go back farther. I'll go on a different chart to show you guys that, but I think that there's going to be a similar thing happen here. This purple line, I don't see it just breaking right below and just going down to the ashes. Obviously it can, but I really do not think that's going to happen. So at most we see this and then gain our footing, but that's really what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. I think that this 50-week MA is gonna stay true until we see a bounce to minimum 40,000s, mid 40,000s. I think at that point this would be a perfect setup for a bear market. That would be a perfect setup for a bear market. Right now, of course it can happen, but I do find it unlikely for us to crash right down to 24K, as many people do think. Many people have said that as well. I don't think it's going to happen, because the same people that were bullish up here, remember, whoever told you to buy right here, they're probably telling you to sell right here. That really doesn't make sense. You're supposed to sell right here and maybe buy right here for a relief rally. So in that case, that's what I'm viewing on Bitcoin. If 31K breaks, we're likely going to see 27.8 to 30,000, somewhere between that. Then at that point, we may get that 50% revival, because as we can see here, we only had 37% here. Our last bull market ended with a 100% revival. Not saying that this is going to happen here, but we had at least a 50%. We only saw 37. So if we go down here and then we get the 50%, that's mid 40s. If we just get maybe a 70%, that's 50s right there. And that will allow us to, exit our positions if you are still in them, if you don't have confidence that we're going to continue up higher at that point. And at that point, we would enter a prolonged bear market. But for a bear market to happen in 3 months, I don't know. Using the past data in the past 3 bull markets, it never happened like that. So I do find it unlikely for that to happen. But other than that, there is a few other things that we could take a look at. Like I said, if you guys want to look at something, send it in the chat and we will surely look at it. But just to wrap up on here, this trend line right here is a big trend line, and if we break below this, we're almost certainly, if we break below this mark, we're almost certainly going to see this at minimum. And then at that point, we may see the revival back up. But if we come back up with strength above that 31, I think just that move right there would allow us to do at least a $44,000 mark. So at that point, it's going to be interesting, and we have to just take it day by day. But it is getting very, very close to these areas right here. This right here is kind of our box we need to be watching for the next day. If this box breaks, it might even happen in an hour. If this box breaks, we're going to see this right here. At minimum, we're going to see this. 30K might provide something little, but at minimum, we're going to see this right here. Then at that point, I think it'd be a very good chance that we at least at minimum see a revive to 30,000, 31, and then like I said, if we break out of it strongly, I think that move right there would set us up for a move back to mid 40s. But obviously, you know, anything can happen in crypto. This is a new crypto space, and there's a lot of new factors that are kind of messing with the price. So that's my view on Bitcoin right now. And now we will take a look at the total crypto altcoin market cap, excluding Bitcoin. So as we can see right here, this right here was the box that I said in the chat, if we break below, it's going to be bad. And this was a potential scenario, but this did not hold right here. As we can see, we got rejected right back out. We hit here, we tried to break up, and it did not happen. So this right here is a more bearish chart than Bitcoin in my opinion. And the reason why is because altcoins will be very bearish when Bitcoin's a little bit bearish. It's just kind of how the market moves. And if you guys are wondering, this right here was basically just a head and shoulders pattern, not clean, but left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This was the neckline, and then bam, we broke below. So there is a potential for a double bottom here, but in all honesty, the altcoins are a lot more overbought than Bitcoin, and they've actually dropped less than Bitcoin in a scale of just your eyes. I'll show you guys here that altcoins have actually dropped less than Bitcoin. So if you see right here, Bitcoin is kind of like right here in the sense. If we put it on the log chart here, you can see it in a better view. Bitcoin is more so in the sense, this is the 20K, and say this is the 30K right here. This is the 30K. This is kind of where Bitcoin is right here, and this right here is kind of the 20K. So for altcoins to have a hard leg down next, if Bitcoin doesn't hold 30K, it's a high possibility. And as we can see, it's already happening. Today was one of the reddest days we've had in a month, and if we put on the week chart, it looks even worse. If we take it off the logarithmic, it really does look bad. But this area right here is going to provide some bounce, and they are kind of the same, Bitcoin and the alts, but I think that this area right here, it's pretty big. I should probably make it a little bit smaller here. This area right here will provide a bounce. That is roughly from right now. It's roughly about 22% to the bottom line. You know, if that doesn't hold, it's gonna be super bad. You know, even though it is super bad, I mean, this would be super bad because we are looking at a back test of our previous high, which is roughly about 30% as of right now, and this box right here should provide some type of bounce. And the reason why is just because there was a lot of grinding here. Here, this was kind of just upward move, as we can see. This was all new all-time high. We didn't really spend much time here. That's why price went right through it, and we failed to get back above. This is kind of like this is just like an arc right here. And this right here, we kind of just have to erase that off the chart because it just got retraced right away. It happened so fast, and then it came right back down. That's why we spent time over here, and now we're making our new lows. And the reason why is because when price moves fast through an area, it's likely to move fast on the way down, even faster. So it takes the staircase up in a sense, and then as we can see, the floor just fell out on the way down. So that is my view on the altcoins right now. There's really not much to say when we're mid-dropping, down 17% on the day. As we can see, this is 17% right here, 140 billion. Altcoins have lost 140 billion today, and many people are freaking out. But you know, we try to warn you guys of this up here because this was super bearish on Bitcoin's end and many other things. I expected a harder bounce right here, but we didn't get it. More so on Bitcoin, I expected at least that and then do this, but we just didn't get it. We kind of just went sideways for a month, and there were no buyers there to pick us back up. So we dropped pretty fast. But as we can see, we're practically retesting this zone right here. But I really do think that this is going to provide a bounce. So we're looking anywhere from, it's different for all your altcoins, but anywhere from 490 to roughly 600 billion, I'd say. Probably could pull this down even a little bit more right here. That right there would be the bounce I'm seeing. And if you want to hear something that could be a bright side of things on the technical analysis standpoint, so I'm sure you guys have seen my ABC wave, but technically we could say that this would be a perfect ABC wave right there. And then at that point, we'd see at minimum an ABC wave back up, which I would like to see something probably like this. And then at that point, we would see what would happen here, because there'd be that important resistance here, and we go from there. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on altcoins. You know, it's hard to say, is this going to bounce right here, or are we just going to go right back down? Because it's mid dump. You know, there's not much data to look at as of right now. You know, it's just complete free fall. But as we can see, we did hold here the last time. So, you know, pretty soon by the end of the night, we should see some type of bounce, and it is potential to, you know, have just a V bottom out of here as a potential. You know, just like we got a wick down here, we might get a wick down here, but then stabilize on here and have a V bottom out of there. That's a potential. But if not, I'd probably be looking at something like, let's take this fractal right here. I'd probably say we'd be looking at something like this. That right there can be a good scenario. And at that point, you know, we'd have to see what would happen with the price, because we can't say what's going to happen in 2 months. But if we could break this trend line right here, you know, it could be a nice revival across the board. So pretty soon here, if you are a trader, there's going to be some good longs coming up. Don't just ape into leverage positions, but there's definitely going to be some longs, just like when we had this leg right here. You know, if you're good on Binance, I mean, that was just a 60% revival in a mere 3 days. So pretty soon here, watch what we're sending, but pretty soon here, within the next 2 days, in my opinion, we're going to see at least a 20 to 30% revival quickly. It might just be a leg up and a leg back down. You know, it could just be something like this, back down, and then that. But if you are a trader, look for the bounce coming up here soon. Draw the support and resistances. There's a very big one right here at 616, and as we can see, we're at 665 right now. But there is going to be a bounce here. It's not just going to go straight down to the ground like this, in my opinion. You know, don't count anything out. Nobody knows, but that's just from my experience. I don't think it's just going to drop right back down to 300 billion, because there's really not much there. We're going to spend some time right here. This right here, there's a lot of trading here. There's sideways move here. There was really no sideways move here at all. Just a little bit here. That's why we spent some time here. But that's why we're clearing all of this, and now we're going to go back to this range right here. This range right here, as we can see, that right there could be a time where we spend some time here. If we get this bounce, we might spend time and then come back up. So, you know, we got to see where this stabilizes, but pretty soon here, I think we'll see a strong bounce. You know, not saying it's going to be all the way back up here, but we're going to see something like that, a strong bounce, just like we got here. This always happens in crypto. So if you are a trader, there's going to be some good volatility coming up. As for investing, if you guys are wondering, right now it's too risky to just buy something and just hold on to it. I mean, if you're super confident in an altcoin like Algo or HBAR or Quant or something like that, and you really believe that it's going to be something in the future, there's no problem with dollar cost averaging into it right now, buying a little bit here and there. But if you're really looking to put a large sum of money in and just let it go, I wouldn't say that this is a good time. This is a good time to be trading, though. You know, if you know what you're doing well enough, there's super big moves here for you to be trading, and there's great money to be made. So don't be afraid to trade this as super volatile. It means a lot of money. Obviously, you could lose a lot as well, but you know, if you're confident enough to do the trading, there's great trading coming up, and not even coming up. It's been the last day. I mean, this was an 18% day right here, so that'd be a great short for many altcoins. But let's go over, before we wrap this up. Dogecoin really had a sell-off here. If you guys are wondering why, basically there was just a trend line right there, and we broke right below it. And a simple pattern right here: head, shoulder, and that right there is, well, we have this bounce, like I said in the chat. We're going to see 16 or we're going to see 14. If you guys are wondering about Dogecoin, but it is going to be a nice trade overall. You know, crypto's just not just going to drop all the way to the ground. It takes its time usually. So we're going to have many waves up and down, just like this. Huge wick, revive back up. Huge wick down, revive back up. Down, back up. That's what we're going to see at some point. If we stabilize at 16, great. If we go to 14, still going to be some type of revival there. But if you guys want to see, I'm just going to scroll through all my different altcoins here. Then I'll wrap it up because I see that no one wants to see anything specific. So I'll just go over what I have. You know, just overall, Bitcoin's kind of ruling the market right now. I think there's many altcoins that should be pumping right now just because they're worth something in the future. But, you know, crypto's still infant and they all follow Bitcoin. So that's kind of the unfortunate news that we have, but it's just kind of the way it is. So this right here is Bitcoin Gold, not much there. This is Kusama, not much there. BitTorrent looks like Dogecoin. XVS, Horizon. Most of these alts just had their large leg just in the past 6 hours. Qtum right here. As we can see, I mean, if anyone thinks that, you know, that we're technically, the alts aren't in a bull market. Alts left their bull market over here. This right here was the end of that. Bitcoin could, you know, still be in a bull trend, but 99% of alts are not in a bull market. You know, there's going to be some time. So if you guys are wondering, there's very likely going to be 3 months that are going to be chopping very slow. So don't expect something like this. It's just very, very unlikely. This is a new time. Maybe if we get some great regulation, you know, we might see something like that. But in my opinion, it's going to be a slow time. I'd say until September minimum, August. It's going to be super slow. So if you guys, this is going to be a great time to trade. If you guys trade Binance futures, great time. But to buy and hold, it might be a good time, but there's not enough conviction to buy and hold at these levels right here. It's really just not worth the squeeze. The risk to reward's really not there. But as we can see, I mean, these altcoins, they nearly retrace their entire pumps. We put them on week charts. I mean, these things are, they looked like a joke 3 months ago, and now they're looking better. You know, so in the bright side of things, this needed to happen, and it's happening. So, you know, if you're with crypto for the long run, it's gonna be a good, it's gonna be a good future for most of these coins. But right now, it's obviously not looking good. I mean, there's really not much different from this to this right here. This kind of looks like MicroStrategy stock, but like that's basically what I'm saying. I don't think we're gonna see this long of consolidation because we had a way longer run up and we went way higher. But I think it's very possible to see something like this. It's possible. It is possible. I wouldn't say that long. I didn't see how far I was drawing that. But I think at max mid-2022, we'd see revival strongly. You know, on the quickest time to see some strong revival and like to see some big gains on some alts again, I'd say probably September we'd start that. Potentially October, maybe August we'd start turning around. But it's just like a bull market. Like when we were in this bull market right here, yeah. Each time we had a wave down, yeah, we came back up. But this is no longer just a wave down. This is a straight trend change on pretty much every single alt. So it's kind of an unfortunate thing. But if you are a trader, this is a good time to trade. That's for sure. But as we can see, I mean, besides Theta Fuel's like the only altcoin that doesn't look terrible. I'm not too sure why it even had this pump right here, but it's just one of the altcoins that doesn't look bad. It's still down 25% today, so it's definitely not good. But there was one altcoin, I did point this out today, and that's Monero. Surprisingly enough, Monero, it's breaking it right now, but Monero has kept its uptrend. This doesn't really mean much, but for the strength of Monero, it means it's one of the more stable ones in my opinion. It's only dropped like 60%. Some of them have dropped 80%. It's been around for a long time, but as we can see, we're still technically on an uptrend. I could even pull this down a little bit. If we get a super big bounce right now, this thing could continue on. That doesn't mean the whole market is, but you know, this thing could continue on. Then we have Compound right here. Really didn't really pump that much. Obviously had a nice 1,000% this bull market, but not too much. But as we can see here, we're breaking below here, but we're starting to get to see this right here was kind of our no support zone, but now we're starting to get to some structure. We had it back here. We had it back here. So we should expect bounces at pretty soon on these altcoins. Right here is Aave. We are at our very important 200 support, and we'll play between 170 and 200. But this could provide a bounce, but as of right now, it's really hard to say because RSIs have not oversold yet. Ethereum Classic, this thing had a crazy run up. I think that this thing could definitely come down to 20s, another 50%, just because that thing had a crazy run up. Uniswap, not too bad, but you know, it's coming back down to where it started last year. So a lot of these things are reviving, but pretty soon here, you know, within the next 6 months, I think we'll see strong revivals out of most of them. But just know that after big drops, it takes consolidation to come back up. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Cake, this one was probably one of the weakest I've looked at. When we went all the way up, nearly came all the way back down. Started at like 940. We went to 44 bucks, and now it's pretty much all the way back down. So that's definitely, you know, not the best holder here, but it just is what it is for that coin. This right here is Phantom. This coin kind of looks really weird. This is the top 100 list, if you guys are wondering. This coin right here is having a trend line right here that actually might provide a bounce. So we gotta take a look at that one right there. Keep eyes on that. But SNX, I mean, this is just this is crypto, you know, crazy run up, fast, pretty much the same speed back down. I've never traded this coin, so I don't know too much about it. But Zcash as well, huge run up, all the way back down. I mean, it was at 400 bucks, now it's at 100. Same thing with Waves. Waves actually had a huge blow off top, but surprisingly, Waves has actually fared pretty well. And I'm not saying that any of these are good to buy. I'm just looking at the different, you know, the different variety of the market right now and how some things have fared. Like this thing compared to like different coins has held up a lot actually. You know, its low was like 50 cents. It's still up 2,800%, more than Ethereum. So that is pretty impressive on that end. And right now you want to look for the coins that are holding up well, just because that definitely usually means a lot on them. So it is something interesting to look at because coins that aren't dropping much right now, definitely keep eye of that. Raven, really nothing there. Anchor, nothing there. The graph, this one looks decent, but it looks like we're about to have another leg at least to probably 40 cents. Dent, this one had a huge run up, but we're starting to come back down heavy now. IOTA kind of looks like, you know, looks like different, like Dash and like Zcash, but on an interesting note here, we actually never back tested this right here. So if we come down to this for 50 cents, you know, this might be the point. You know, obviously every coin's got a different view, but this might be the point that we have our ABC, and then we consolidate into like September, October, and then we might go on to make another high before the end of the year. That's a very, very possible view. So like a lot of these coins structures aren't terrible, but then other coins, they just look like crap. So it is kind of hard to say exactly. And this right here is XRP. And as we can see, this had a red trend line right here. That was our uptrend line. This right here was another trend line. And basically when we dropped here, all we did was retest that. And now we're coming back down for our next leg. If this mark right here, the 60, does not hold, very likely going to see a sweep to about 53 cents. At that point, you know, it will have to depend on Bitcoin, but compared to other coins, this thing's structure does not look terrible, and the reason why is because the SEC lawsuit kind of suppressed it, so it really took its time on the way up. You know, as we can see, this doesn't look anywhere near as bad as other coins. Other coins are just straight up, straight back down. This right here technically still has a beautiful structure to it. You know, if we get a news on the lawsuit, it definitely can continue its run and hit its all-time high. I think that we can come down to 40 cents and still have an intact structure. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So we just got to keep an eye on the rest of the market. But on a view of XRP that's interesting is that a lot of people like to use the line chart. And the reason why I'm showing this right now is because right here, it looks like we retested that zone. See this wick right here? It looks like we retested this important resistance right here, that this green line that we were stuck under for a while. But if we put on the line chart, we actually didn't. So right now, this might be a very good thing. If we could hold this, the 60 cent mark and get a strong revival along with the rest of the market, it's going to depend on the rest of the market. That'd be a great setup for XRP. I think a minimum 60% trade. Obviously, other coins are going to be great as well, but at some point, SEC is going to have a decision, and people think that it's a maximum probably February of next year. And at that point, if they win victorious, just the relistings on exchanges is going to see at least 100%. So there is opportunity left with XRP. Obviously, it's dropping with the rest of the market, but the one thing about this coin is that it took a very slow time on the way up. Most coins, they were already blazing up here. And when they're up here, they were off my screen. But XRP, it just slowly has went up and up. So this might just be a up, down, up, down, up, down. We might even come down here, up, down. It just kind of is the way it is, but structure is not terrible on XRP. I will say that. Probably the best structure I've seen overall, just because of the SEC lawsuit, and not even because I like the coin, just because it still has a curve and it took its time on the way up. So that is something to keep in mind. EOS really looks bad. We're back to 350. We hit 15 bucks, so that is an unfortunate thing on the EOS side. But this coin is kind of dead. Nobody talks about it anymore. People were lucky to even get this pump right here. I believe Simon said a nice signal on that. I did have some as well, but it's probably not a good investment for the long term. Sushi, very, very nice chart actually. It definitely looks like it started dropping a lot more, but the reason why I say it's a nice chart is because we go on the log chart. It's really taking its time on the way down. As we can see, we still have the trend line here. We're kind of breaking that, and we have this bull flag right here. But it's not the worst I've seen, just because it's got utility. Coins, they need to have utility. Sushi has utility. It has a great exchange. Matic network. This thing looks, obviously it doesn't look good, meaning it's going to continue to go up. But as for how it's fared, it's beautiful. This coin's still up, 117,000%. I'm not telling you to buy that, but if people did hold that, good job, because this is one of the best faring coins that I've seen in a while. Link, as I showed in the chat, this is a 450-day trend line, and we already wicked off of it. There's a very good chance that Link bounces right off here and then starts coming back up. September, October, then we start getting some high price moves. And then we have ICX here. This kind of looks like, it kind of actually looks like XRP. It's not the worst chart. It seems like it took its time back up, but we still have the trend line right here. A lot of coins have trend lines coming up very soon, so we definitely should see some type of bounce, because that will complete its ABC waves. We have this wave right here, A, B, C, and those structures usually at least provide a bounce back up to here, and then we make a decision and come back down. Near right here, I've never really analyzed this chart, but same concept. We still have a trend line right here that is still intact. As we can see, still a trend line intact. If we get the bounce soon, it won't be bad. Nano, this is Tron. This actually was what I just said. I said near, but no, this is Tron. Doesn't look terrible. We have that trend line, so we might see a decent sized bounce on Tron. But like I said, this all depends on Bitcoin. That's why I went over Bitcoin first. I'm just trying to show you guys what the rest of the market looks like. Next, we have Nano. Nano is a really good coin. It's feeless, very cheap, very green. I think it's got a good future, but unfortunately, we did break our entire uptrend here and retest it right here. So I think we could probably find stabilization around the $3 range in Nano. And next up, we got XLM. XLM kind of looks the same as TRX. It had a nice run up, but there is a trend line coming up. But XLM is one of those coins that I think will do some big things in the future. Any coin that's mentioned with the World Economic Forum, there's a reason for that. So keep an eye on that one. Holo is a good coin as well, and it's actually fared pretty well. But if we do break below the 0.0058, we're not going to have anything until probably 0.37. So watch out if you are in that. AVAX, this one is a good coin as well. This is a DeFi, I believe. It might have NFTs on it. If we break below this, there's really nothing left until 750, so be careful on that one as well. UMA, this coin looks terrible. No comment. Cosmos, This coin is a good coin. And like I said, many coins have these trend lines right here. So for this just to break right through, unlikely. Can happen, but unlikely. So we should see a bounce soon at some point. Binance coin has fared very, very well, just because it has strong utility, and we might see a $200 Binance coin if market continues to drop. 220. If we break below that, it's not going to look good. LTC doesn't look terrible. It's actually just back testing this right here. But if we do break below the 115, we don't really have anything until 93 and 71. So be careful with LTC. This right here is Cello. This coin really does not look good at all. This Bitcoin SV, this just broke its entire uptrend that it's had for 2 years. So definitely do not be in that coin. Yearn Finance, not terrible because it actually has utility, but we did break our uptrend, so that is something to watch out on. But we do have a lot of support here. We have support at 20,000, support at 25,000, support at 18,000. So not too big of a fall if market continues to drop. Dash right here. This is about to touch its support about 118. I expect a bounce about the $100 range. If we break below that, it's not going to look good, but I really do think that we would definitely get some type of bounce anywhere in between this right here. This is just a cluster right here. This has got to provide some type of bounce. At that point, if you're in, either sell your position, cut it, or hold it if you think in the end of the year is going to be good. Because I really can't say I wish I could. Tezos, Algorand. I think this is a great coin. It still has a beautiful uptrend as well, but I think that this is a great coin. I mean, this could come down to 50 cents and still be fine. This was mentioned in the World Economic Forum, and the owner is very good friends with Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. I think that Algo will do some big things in the future. Luna, great coin as well, but this is about to break 480, and that's probably going to be really dirty, right down to 360 and then down to 240. So be careful with that. Bitcoin Cash is pretty much dead. Altcoin market, like I said, we already went over this. I expect a bounce throughout here, and this kind of goes along with all the other coins I've been looking at. If we draw this trend line right here, look where that is. It's at the exact point where this would provide that bounce. So that's what we got to keep our eyes on. Cardano, very, very strong. I give credit to Cardano, very, very strong. We still have 95 cents. We still have 109. I mean, there's still a lot of support there for Cardano. Last would be 80. If we break 80, probably going to see it's going to be bad. I'll just say that, but we're nowhere near 80 yet, so it's fine on that. Decred, FTX token. This is not looking good. We'll probably see 20 bucks if market continues. If that doesn't hold that, then we're going to see 14 and potentially stabilize around 10 to 12. And HNT, Bancor, this is a good coin. We might just be retesting this resistance, which isn't a problem right here. We probably could come down to about 230 and stabilize right around there. Ethereum, not looking good. I will say that. Ethereum did break its entire uptrend line. This one right here we had until basically January of this year. But we have a cluster of support coming up here. So, not terrible for Ethereum. Still up nearly 1,500% on the year. Basic attention coin, not looking the best. This coin's Celsius. I don't know if this is even the right chart because Simon couldn't find it today, but this coin looks pretty good. I'm not sure why no one could find this chart anymore, but I'll just skip that one. Crypto total market cap. This is the total crypto market cap. I'd say we find bounce right about the $1 trillion mark. That was a huge mark, and for us to retest this, come back around, it's about the same as every coin. This is Bitcoin right here. Already went over Bitcoin. This is Crypto.com coin. I don't even know what this coin's about. It really looks weird, but on a technical standpoint, we technically still have a trend line that's completely intact, so that's a good point right there. And then HBAR. HBAR is a great coin, and this thing is very, very stable, and we really have a lot of support coming up for HBAR. So, it wouldn't be a bad idea to pick some up here for a little 20 to 30 to even 50% bounce, even if you're just trading it. I think that's going to be great. And then Clayton, only coin that's up today. I'm not sure why, up 9%, but this is a newer coin. It's only on Bittrex, But basically, if we break above this resistance right here, I say we'll see a nice rally on Clayton, because it did just retest this area right here. But if we break below the dollar mark, we're probably going to see 72 cents again. So I hope all you guys enjoyed that. Just went over 100 coins. Hopefully you guys own some of those. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing in the market. So we just gotta keep eyes on. You know, it's gonna depend a lot on Bitcoin. Hope all of you guys see the thing about Bitcoin, that my first intro about it, just basically what the scenarios are on Bitcoin. So, Sime. One second, Sime.
I think we covered it pretty well and in depth, and 100 coins, so that's great. Omar was just asking, do you get a chance to look over VET?
I'm sorry, which one?
VET. That VeChain?
I do. It should have been in my list, but I will take a look at it. I might have skipped it over by accident. VET's got perfect structure still. I think we could probably see a we probably could see a swoop down to probably about 6 cents, and then at that point we probably see a bounce. As we can see, this is its ABC right here, and we got some support right here. So I don't think that's any issue right there. But unfortunately, if we do break the 0.074, it's most likely going to stop at about 0.06.
Yeah, that looks to make sense, I think, to me as well. Next up, RSR.
RSR, yeah. You know, I don't know if I skipped over these, or this was my top 100 list that I did roughly about 3 weeks ago. So I guess that a lot of coins did hop out of that list, but unfortunately, RSR did see. I don't know if you saw it all, Simon, but a lot of coins have broken their trends, but a lot of them haven't. Which the ones that haven't, I said that are stronger coins, and they are looking better. But the good news about RSR is that there is a large support coming up if you are holding this. You know, if some of you guys just want to get out of your coins, you know, we're going to see some type of bounce coming up in the next few days. I don't know how big it's going to be, but this right here is going to provide some type of bounce between 0.015 and pretty much where it's at right now. It's another 25% down maximum, but somewhere in between this, we are going to see a bounce. But like I said, we did break uptrend on that, and unfortunately, there really is no other trend I could draw. I could draw this one right here, but it's only been touched a few times. But that basically goes along with this bounce for this box for another bounce as well. So that's basically what I'd be seeing, just because it's really a clean ABC on a lot of these coins. So I'd see at least a minimum this, and then we might continue our bear trend.
Beauty, yeah. I think I definitely expect some sort of consolidation when Bitcoin rips, or either hits 30K, holds there, comes down, struggles to fight at 29, 28K. But we're definitely going to see that consolidation come up, and that's where you're going to see a lot of dead cat bounces in some of these coins that have dropped 30-40% the last week out of nowhere.
Yep. No, you're 100% right there, Simon. So guys, you know, that's going to be happening. Like I said, if you guys are traders, if you guys are confident enough, don't be afraid to long once we see some stabilization. Once we see a nice big wick like this, if we bounce right here, you know, on anything, a big wick, you're going to get at least a 10 to 20 to even 30 to 40% revival. Not saying it's going to continue up, but it's a good way to trade.
Indeed, and something to keep in mind is once we go below 30K, and as soon as I feel like we're stabilizing, I'm gonna start sending in buy signals, bro. Because Bitcoin below 30K and all these altcoins, the prices they're worth buying risk to reward wise.